And now, a minute from our conservation partner, the Bonefish and Tarpon Trust.
My name is Dr. Andy Danylchuk, and I'm a professor at University of Massachusetts in Amherst, and I'm also a BTT Research Fellow. The acoustic telemetry project that we've been doing on Atlantic tarpon really focuses in on understanding how they're using space, how they're using the coastline, and when they're making those key migrations. If you talk to a lot of the guides in the Keys, they're always talking about, fish that move and migrate to the Keys between, sort of February, March, April. They're down here for the tarpon season. It's when the focus is on the Keys and everybody's fired up about the Silver King. And then all of a sudden, they start to migrate and move. But how far do they move? When do they move? And how does that movement pattern ultimately affect how we manage tarpon, not within the state of Florida and then beyond? And so we've been putting acoustic transmitters in Atlantic tarpon. We surgically implant the transmitters. They're relatively small and they have a long battery life. And this provides us a huge advantage because it means we can track the same individual from year to year to year and across large spatial scales. Because of the size of the transmitters, we can put them in much smaller fish than what the satellite tags have been put on. And that gives us a much bigger, broader picture about what the entire population is doing. Some of the data that we've collected so far is just blowing our minds because we're seeing some smaller individuals, 40, 50 pounds that we think really wouldn't migrate very far, do some pretty vast migrations. We've had some tarpon that were tagged in the Florida Keys make their way up the east coast of Florida, past the Carolinas, all the way up and detected near Virginia. And yes, we might be able to protect them really well in one state, and then all of a sudden they're exposed to threats in another state. And so that knowledge really feeds into the application of information to really positively affecting change about how we manage tarpon populations. Who needs to be around the table to have a discussion about how we protect the Silver King, not only for our generation, but for future generations.
To learn more, visit btt.org.